And I'll hand over to you, Alex.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much for having me. It's been a really interesting morning. I've really enjoyed listening to everybody. Happy birthday to the Jurassic Coast for this year. We've got our big birthday coming up next year. So we're going to be 50 in 2023. So that's our big one soon. So just to people that don't know, or just as a bit of a recap, the South West Coast Path Association. So we're the organisation that works to improve and protect the 630 miles national trail, which goes all the way from Minehead round to Poole in Dorset. So that does include the Jurassic Coast, the 150 miles of the Jurassic Coast. So we're a charity. There are lots of other national trails around the country, like Hadrian's Wall, but we just concentrate on the South West Coast Path, and we're a membership organisation. So we've got 10,000 members, and we've also got 350 business members as well. And we work with path managers to try and upkeep the path and also to promote the path. So as we've heard this morning already, it's quite an important asset of the Jurassic Coast and the South West as a whole. And my role within the organisation is to look at try and engage with people and get people out on the coast path. And it might be people that wouldn't necessarily normally come out onto the coast path. So it's quite interesting what Simon just said on your ending about trying to diversify that audience, because that's something that we're looking at and thinking about as well. So as mentioned by Samantha earlier, the Southwest, being by the coast, has got really good health and well-being benefits. So seen as being a really important place to come to relax, for relaxation. There's lots of good research at the moment that highlights the health and well-being benefits of green spaces and blue spaces. So spending time in the natural environment improves our mental well-being. It reduces stress, fatigue, anxiety and depression, boosts immune systems and encourages and also reduces the risk of chronic diseases. We've had some recent research done by the University of Exeter that demonstrates that there's £75 million of savings to the NHS in people accessing and using the South West Coast Path, which is brilliant. And we're having another bit of research done at the moment, which is all about looking at what the mental health benefits are as well. So we know this from those figures, but we also know it from our members and our supporters. So we always have lots of amazing stories that come through about how people have had a brilliant experience walking the South West Coast Path. And if anyone's read the book, The Salt Path by Raina Wynne, you'll know sort of how important the Coast Path can be to individuals as well. So we know that there are amazing benefits, but we also know that not everybody takes up those amazing opportunities. So we've been doing something called looking at our equality of access work. So it's equity of access work. It's not equality, because we realise that in order for people to have the same opportunities, sometimes they need more support in getting there. So I'm going to talk about a few projects that we've been involved with in terms of our equity of access work. So the first one is is a group that we work with in Plymouth. They're called Devon and Cornwall Refugee Support. And we, at the moment, are leading monthly walks with asylum seekers that are new to Plymouth along the coast path in Plymouth and further afield, places that are accessible that they can get to by public transport. It's really important in that work that we're working with a partner who's an expert in the community that we're working with, so DCRS being fundamental in that. And it's also really important for us that we are giving people opportunities that they can then go and do by themselves afterwards. So we're looking at opportunity of going out on public transport, places that are accessible by easily. And it's interesting that transport came up earlier as being a big issue as well, generally, in terms of access to the coast and people being able to move around the coast path. And we know that can be one barrier in terms of people getting out and experiencing the coast path. It's also really good social activity walking, as that's been mentioned as well, in terms of people visiting the coast to meet with friends and family. And we found out feedback from these groups has been that it's given people a bit of a purpose to their day, and they've been able to practice their English and socialise as well. We've done some previous to this year. We were working with the DCRS again in association with a photographic organisation called Photo Now, and we've got and the participants were producing photographs of the walks that they're doing, and which we're just getting a booklet currently being created of all the walks that they did. And also there's a really good video that was created as well, which is on our website, which I can forward on the link, which just shows a little bit more about this project as well. We've also, another project, we've also been looking at improving activity levels for people. So we've got funding through Active Devon, and so the funding's come from Sport England. And it's quite interesting to know that Sport England's emphasis at the moment is less about sort of organised sport, and it's more about getting people moving and getting people active. So this project called Connecting Actively to Nature was all about trying to improve activity levels of over 55s. So a lot of our projects were called Couch to Coast, where we got people starting off doing smaller walks and then gradually building up to doing 5 kilometres on the coast path. And walking wasn't necessarily the main outcome. It was one of our ones that we wanted to achieve in terms of getting people active. But again, we found all the social connections being sort of really important things that people took away from it. We also had guest speakers come along from local organisations who would tell them about the local area, about the wildlife, about the history, and people really appreciated that in part of it. And also we also always finished with refreshments from sampled on the coast path, so that was a really important part of it as well. There's 2 pictures here that you can see, and one is on the top one is Jurassic Coast. So this was our walking group from Exmouth, who were finishing their 5 kilometres in on Budleigh Salterton Beach, if people can recognise all the stony beach there. And the bottom picture is Mount Edgecombe, which is in Plymouth. So it was participants from Plymouth who were getting out over and going to the beautiful site of Mount Edgecombe, so really accessible from the city, and going exploring there. Information also being a really important part of people's access experience. So we're finding that people want to know, in order for people to get out, they need to know things. So they need to know where they're going to go, where they're going to park, whether there's refreshments, all of those things. And we're doing a number of things to try and help people with that. One of them is our website. So if people have visited our website before, we've got over 1 million hits on our website every year. And there's lots of information about where to eat and drink there, where to stay, and where to take part in activities. And we have our Waymakers and our Waymaker Friends, which is our business membership. It got relaunched. We relaunched it in COVID, realizing that businesses needed a different sort of approach to it. And we do have packages that businesses can take out, and we do have free ones if you're a charity or if you're offering a low budget accommodation. So again, trying to make it more accessible for people. We do have our passport, a project which is starting this year, and that is trying to again enhance the experience for people. So as you go along the coast path, you'll be able to pick up a stamp from different locations. So we're hoping that might appear more to families and different people. And we're currently sort of looking, we're going to have 52 stamping points this year, and there will be opportunities for businesses to be those in the future as well. So carrying on for this need for the information to be accessible, we're also looking at our walk information, and we're looking at trying to make sure that all of our walk information is relevant to the audience, where it's up to date and it's accurate. So this photo here is of some disabled ramblers visiting the coast path at Westwood Hoe. This was featured actually in the news, or we were on ITV West Country in the summer at this location. So we're working with groups like Disabled Ramblers in this case to ensure that the information we provide is useful for them. So we're using the same grading that they use. for their walks. We want to provide lots of photographs as well, so that people have got that expectation of what it's like when they get there. And all of that information about toilets, cafes, parking, all of those things being really key and important. So we're hopefully going to launch some more easy access guides this year. And then we're also looking at not just necessarily the physical sort of things as in the disabled ramblers, but we also want to look at other groups as well. So other user groups that again might need that added support in terms of getting and accessing the coast path. So that's just a few of the projects that we're involved with, and we're just sort of on the start of this journey in terms of looking at our engagement and trying to diversify our engagement. But that just gives you an idea of the things that we've started doing. Thank you.
Alex, thank you. That's really fascinating. Yeah, it's always just great to hear what you guys are up to, particularly around the accessibility. I think, were there any questions from the floor for Alex for her talk? No, I don't think so. Okay.